can talk a great story, but when it comes to really exercising our power, we don't want to do it. And unless there is a pressure, well, what kind of pressure did we have to place on Congress? With Congress, it seems like there are two things to do, carrots or sticks, and the carrots is the money. So if you're a big lobbying lobbyist and you are donating generously to congressional campaigns, or if you have access to their constituents big time through the media, through solid media, sure, you can have that power of pressure. But when you're looking at an already marginalized group, whistleblowers, and the media even marginalize them further by usually depicting them as the disgruntled employees, etc., you don't have that power, and you don't have the sticks, and you don't have the carrots, and therefore, Congress, even though it's the right thing to do, in fact, it is increasing their own power. Because we're saying we should be able to come and hand you this information. For oversight, you need information. You need to know what's going on inside these agencies. Do you believe the head of an agency, the director, is going to come and tell you the truth about what's happening, what the real problems are? Of course not. Basically, you depend on whistleblowers, these people, to come and disclose and give you information, so then you can go and implement your, oversight responsibility, and then hold people accountable, or whatever it is you have been given the job to do. You have been elected to do this. Well, they actually decrease their own power, these congressional members, because they're saying, well, by not providing protection for these whistleblowers, and by not doing anything in terms of follow-up hearings and holding the agencies accountable, we are actually cutting ourselves from the information source for Congress to know what's going on within the executive branch. And the reason we had three branches were that, that they were separate and they think that we could have oversight. Well, we haven't had this oversight. And whistleblower issues is just one of many. If you were to look at the approval rate for Congress, you will see that it's been plunging, because if you were to go and ask most Americans, they will tell you, no, they're not really being represented. And yes, the Congress has been failing the nation by not, holding the executive branch accountable and practice real oversight authority. And again, not only in whistleblower cases, you come across this with all the torture cases and the NSA's illegal wiretapping. If you were to look at all the big scandals that have surfaced in the past 1 decade, related to the executive branch, and then if you were to go and see what Congress has done about these scandals and issues, you will see that there's been nothing, absolutely nothing. So it fits the same pattern. Because of that, after 2006,
That's absolutely...
and I'll finish this, I will wrap it up, I won't go on with this, up until end of 2006, it was really interesting, the dynamic in the Congress, because we would go to these offices, and at that time, the Democrats were the minority, and they, behind the scenes, they were like patting our back, saying, yes, we want to hold hearings, we want to hold these agencies accountable, we want to pass this legislation. The only reason we are not able to do it because our hands are tied, because Republicans, the majority, the Bush administration, they are the ones who are preventing the hearings, because they have the power to prevent it, and they have the power to override the legislation that we want to introduce for whistleblowers protection. And we were really gullible. We really believed it. So even though our organization is completely nonpartisan, I mean, we have equal number of Republicans and Democrat members, and we have several libertarians, we actually were cheering for the majority to change in November 2006, because we were given all these promises, and in fact some of them in writing. If you were to go to our website, you would see some of these statements and some of the letters that we have scanned put on the website by people like Congressman Waxman at the time, saying, yes, we will do it if we were to be the majority. Well, as soon as they became the majority, they stopped taking calls from us, the whistleblowers, and on these legislation issues. They had promised us on the record that if they were to be, taken over to Congress, they will have this and that hearing on this particular case, on this CIA state secrets privilege case, on FBI state secrets privilege case, my case. Well, none of those were fulfilled, and we ended up in this position of seeing the reality. And that was when we changed our message. We said, well, Congress needs to change. We need to change the Congress. And by we mean the nation. And meanwhile, for people who see wrongdoings, the only course of action that we recommend, do it anonymously and just give it directly to the public. And don't bother pursuing these illusionary cosmetic channels and waste time, especially if the matters are urgent. We are not encouraging people to divulge truly classified information. We would never do that. But really, the number of truly classified information is not as high as you would or they want you to believe. There are so many issues that they can just willy-nilly stamp as classified or pretend they're classified. And like issues such as informant's identity or the asset, those are the things that nobody ever should go and divulge. But in many cases, including the NSA's illegal eavesdropping, we have had the only whistleblower, public whistleblower from the NSA, and Russell Tice. He's been our member since 2004. He's been active with us in Congress. Those are the issues that these whistleblowers or wannabe whistleblowers or anonymous whistleblowers, when they come to us, we encourage them to find the safest way to disclose it to the public and let the public know.
Well, that's right, and you raise a number of very important points there, including not only how the attempt to silence whistleblowers and critics of the establishment is not only a bipartisan endeavor, but also is facilitated by the complicity of the mainstream media, which has really worked to cover up stories like yours rather than report them, which one would expect would be their duty. But I guess for the benefit of those listeners who may not know your story, what type of information did you uncover in the course of your duties, and why would the establishment be so afraid of that information getting out to the public?
Well, the information involved the foreign operatives in the United States with their lobbying entities, who were colluding with U.S. persons and people, both elected officials but also U.S. officials within the executive branch, in obtaining classified, highly classified U.S. Intelligence and military secrets, congressional bribery, and in some cases that had to do with Chicago, it had to do with narcotics dealings. And again, because it involved not only these foreign entities, but also their U.S. Citizens counterparts who happened to be officials, again, both elected and appointed, and the fact that these officials they came from both parties. They were not only Republicans or Democrats, ended up being this hot potato that nobody wanted to touch. The Obama administration today would be as wary of it as the Bush administration before him. And with Congress, the same thing. It involved Democrats and it involved Republicans. And that also brings up another issue with some of the intelligence agencies, or at least counterintelligence-related divisions, let's say within the FBI. I remember before I reported these issues, the agent, the supervisor agent that I was reporting to, a very nice man, a great, solid, great agent, patriotic. He asked me not to pursue it. He said nothing good will come out of it. And who will you go to when you decide to go to, if you're planning to go to Congress, who will you go to? And how would you determine if that particular congressman, or a senator is actually clean? And that's the word he used. He said, just from the Turkish counterintelligence-related operations, you know of 14, 15 extremely criminal, dirty elected officials who have been receiving illegal campaign donations from foreign entities, who have been engaged in various both sexual and financial-related scandals that have not been public, that FBI has been keeping, by the way, in their records. They have not done anything with these records. And that's only from the Turkish division. And he actually pointed to the rest of the room, because we had all these cubicles and desks from the Hebrew, and Arabic and Urdu translators that these are the ones you know of. there are so many that you don't know that these people know of. Whether it is people who are working the Pakistani desk or the Saudi Arabia desk or the Israel desk. And how are you going to know who is clean to go to? And at the time, I thought he was being cynical. Today, I don't, because you do, especially working with these national security whistleblowers, the known ones, and also we have members who are not publicly listed on our website, that indeed we have too many traitors within these both agencies and within Congress. And that itself defeats the purpose. You're going to go to whom?